some quick tarot development on this live. This is totally impromptu, as are most of my lives. So if you're here, welcome. If you're here on the replay, welcome. But I really want to do some creative tarot development exercises, okay? And this is to help with your creativity, which is also the same thing as your intuition, and with your tarot. So, who's with me? I'm going to wait a little moment or two just for you guys to jump on over. So let me know when you're here and when you're ready for some tarot development exercises. We're going to do one together, all right? So give me a little like, woohoo, or a little hello, and I'll know you're here, and we can get started if you're ready. All right, whilst you do that, I am going to download this image that I've been trying to download. My internet is really slow. Let me know if you can hear me properly and that it's all going well over on your end of things. All right. And there we go. That one's done. Hi, hello. All right, cool. Hey, Zane. Cool. So we are going to do a little spread today. And what this is going to do, this is going to help you develop your tarot skills. Okay. It's also going to help you develop your creativity skills. Now, if you are a writer, this is like amazing. Perfect. This is one of the best things you can do, is use the tarot for your writing. I do it all the time. All right. So I'm going to do just a mini version of one of my spreads that I use for my own writing when I'm creating a story for my kids just on a whim, or when I'm literally writing a short story, whatever I'm doing. Okay. This is like a modified little simple version of it. Usually that one's called the plot pyramid spread. Okay, we'll just do the bottom layer of the plot pyramid. Plot pyramid. So what we're going to do, you pull out your trusty tarot deck. I mean, you could use an oracle deck as well. I use my tarot. Okay, and we are going to create a story. Okay, I don't care if you don't write, if you're not a writer, if you don't think you're creative. If you read the tarot and you want to get better at reading the tarot, this is such a great way to do it. So we're going to pull out 3 cards. All right, let's pull. Which ones? We got card number 1. We got card number 2. And we got card number 3. Scooch up the rest. All right, let's have a look at what we got. So, card number 1, 2 of Wands. Card number 3, Queen of Cups. Card number 4 is the Tower. Now, what we do, this becomes our story, okay? This is the base layer of my plot pyramid tarot spread that I use for myself. So, I'm going to pull them up all at once. Is that the wrong way? That way. So, we have the beginning, we have the middle, and we have the end of our story. So I'm going to put this to you guys first. If you just looked at these 3 cards, what type of story would you think it's going to be? Okay. What is the vibe? Are we looking at a romance? Are we looking at an action, adventure, fantasy? Is it a quest? Are we looking at a mystery? Are we looking at supernatural? Are we looking at science fiction? Are we looking at a comedy? Are we looking at tragedy? What is the overarching vibe with these 3 cards for a story? Okay. Now remember, creativity and intuition are the same thing. Okay. Moving on from mother-related trauma. Yes. That's absolutely what this can mean. Or if we put that into a story, okay, how would that be? What? Beginning, middle, and end. Right? And overarching. Is this a happy story? Is this a sad story? Okay. I want you to have a look at it overarching. Moving on from mother-related trauma is a good one just because we've got Queen of Cups here. Right? So what I would be looking at, the start of our story, okay, we have perhaps our main character, okay? Perhaps they Look at them. They can't move forward. There's a big line there. They're holding a globe. They're dreaming of the outside world. They're trapped, right? We start off with them looking to what they want and they feel trapped. Yeah, sad. This feels like a sad story. We probably have a tragedy on our hands, okay? They want to get out, but they're being controlled by a really smothering, overwhelming mother figure, okay? Right? This is the problem in our story. This is the main plot point, which is the middle, and she is not going to budge. She's like, I will throw you into the ocean before I let you leave my nest, right? That's what I'm getting. Exploration, journey, and change. Yes, absolutely. So he wants to get out and explore. Our character wants to leave the tower or the castle that they feel trapped in, locked in. The Queen of Cups. Now, if you struggle with your court cards, and if you've taken my tarot class, you'll know this already. But if you struggle with court cards, you want to give them a character, okay? I often put this one, what am I thinking, negative aspect, but even some of the positives. She's Cersei Lannister, okay? If you've seen Game of Thrones, Queen of Cups is Cersei vibes, 100%, right? She is like smothering mother, right? She doesn't really have a lot of boundaries there. Fully wants that control, but she also like really, really loves her kids. So it's like the good and the bad of it, right? So think of her as like this bad evil queen that's like keeping this kid from flying from the nest, right? And what does it end in? Well, we've got one person with a crown, another person with a crown jumping out of a tower. Is this like, what do they call it? Is it regicide, where you kill a king or queen? What is it when it's matricide, when it's your mother? I don't know the word. I'm guessing this guy, this is probably like a bit of an anti-hero. Maybe he's the villain. He's going to overthrow everyone, throw them out of the castle. Maybe it's a bit of a victory, okay? Start a whole new kingdom, okay? So we could have some medieval story on our hands about the young prince who wants to get out from under his, the evil queen's grip. And he can't, so he blows the lid off the whole thing and everybody does. Right? This is going to be such a good way to get out of your head when you're having fun with your tarot cards. Or have fun with it. It doesn't always have to be a reading, okay? Could maybe be happier, traveling to the motherland to get in touch with family bloodline, but breaks generate. Yes, you're taking a very positive look at the tower. If we're talking about a creative story, the tower is like the ordeal in writing. The tower is the battle scene. The tower is like shit hits the fan. Things are crumbling down, okay? So yeah, it can be healing in the long run, but it is tough to go through. This is not a fun card that comes out, okay? That could be one. Let's look at another one. Now, if we were doing the full plot one, like actually creating a story with the tarot cards, there's a few little layers to my plot pyramid. The other ones would be, what is the inciting incident? What's actually going to get our characters moving? What moves the plot forward? What are our main problems or challenges, right? Can we do this exercise every week, please? I think we're going to be spending, doing a little bit more around the tarot stuff. So because I am creating a tarot deck and I want to start like, bringing you guys in, like, hello, you like the tarot? But also just like showcasing, right, what I like to do with the tarot, which is a little bit different to what I see other people doing with the tarot. Okay. All right. So let's try this again. Remember, we're looking for beginning, middle, and end. This is the bottom level of our plot pyramid for our random story. Again, you can use this for short stories. You can use this. I use this for my kids. Like, let's make a story up, right? You could use this if you're an artist and you're like, I want to paint something. What am I going to paint? Maybe. Oh, let's do it that way. Okay. Maybe. Let's have a look. Will it be like a traditional deck or the hocus pocus? It's going to be more traditional, but not traditional. I'm master of mystery. All right, so let's have a look. We're going to pretend we're a painter. I am a painter, but we're going to pretend. All right. Start, middle, end. There's one. And I'm going to pull another through and we'll do another story one. Start, middle, end. And if you want a little tarot reading, I'm sending out my email today to my email list, which is my pick a card reading. So you can pick a card, scroll down and see what the message says for you. All right, so our first story, what do we have? We've got our painting hats on. We're like, help me, tarot, I want to do a painting and I have painter's block. I don't know what I want to paint today. So we're looking again, we're going to stick with this like plot thing. Start, middle and end. So we're going to start our painting, Knight of Cups. Oh, okay, so Knight of Cups is very romantic, watery, right? It's kind of slow. All right, our painting is going to be a watercolor. That's how we start our painting. Romantic colors, pinks, light purples, reds, like feeling feminine vibes in that regard, but like romantic, sensual, like big, long strokes, okay? Middle. Some cups here. 9 of Cups. And then end, Hanged Man. Oh, okay. Fun. Okay. I'm going to hold them up for you. All right. So if we were making a painting and you were like, I have painter's block, or I just want to do something totally random and different, okay? This is like, we're starting it off with like watercolors. There's a lot of water energy here, right? So we're going to do a watercolor painting, or we're going to use like inks or something really liquidy, something really fluid, okay? This one, Hanged Man, I'm thinking like a literal, you know when you flip it over and then you get all the drippy lines? Like something like that, right? Something where maybe you drip it down from the top and see how it goes, okay? Maybe your theme is around love or seeking out romance, right? Those are sort of the vibe of what you're going to do. This one here, 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups is like the central point, our focus point of this painting, okay? So our focus point is potentially going to be, so he's very, he's kind of like relaxed, he's sitting there, he's sitting back, he's like, yeah, this is good, this is comfy. So our focal point is going to be on, and he's got all like these trophies in the back, he's feeling very emotional satisfaction. So maybe we're stepping back and we're looking at what's the word? We're looking at the results from our escapades in love, okay? That's how I would start to read these, and then we're going to flip it on its head, all right? So perhaps your focal point in your painting is going to be, you know, a couple off in the distance, and we're looking at how, you know, beautiful that is, and then we're going to flip it upside down. It's actually going to be a reflection of something, and you can find some really cool artistic viewpoint on that, right? Or upside down, it looks like something totally different. We get a totally different perspective, right? One of those like, oh, when we flip it over, oh, then we see what it, you know, what it, other things it could be. Like, you know, those images where you're like, if you see a woman, you're left-brained, and if you see the young lady, you're right-brained. Those sorts of things. That's how I'm thinking that would come through, right? In very romantic colors with love as the theme and like this sort of zoomed out view. Okay, that's how you can create a painting or an idea for a painting, right? Get your creative juices going. All right, so that's a fun one. Now I did pull 3 other cards. I'm going to do some storytelling again. Okay, how are you guys finding this so far? What do you think? Is this like really boring, or is this like, wow, I never thought of that, or this is really not relevant to me? P.S. Do you like my Totoro earrings? I just bought them. Aren't they cute? Let me know. You're allowed to comment. Tova says, I love this. Thank you. Good. I like your comments, people. Don't feel shy. All right, so our next card. We have the Sun. We have the 7 of Wands. Love it, says Hope Mia. And Tova says, great idea and super useful. Awesome. And then we have the 8 of Pentacles, all right? So this again is going to be and earrings are gorgeous, thank you. I am very happy with them. They were a really good $10 spend. So we have the Sun as our beginning, all right? Maybe our story, right? We're writing this story. The story begins in childhood, right? We get a look at how our character came to be. You know, once upon a time, there was a little girl and she had, you know, I don't know why I'm thinking of Rapunzel. She had lovely glowing locks and then we get up to like growing up. Obviously this is not the story of Rapunzel, but just like how Tangled, when you watch the movie Tangled, we start with Rapunzel as a little girl, right? Being a baby. other ones like Finding Nemo, we see the origin story. So it's like the origin of Nemo was a little fish and little egg, and all the other eggs washed away, and then we see you know, why his dad's going to be so protective of him later, right? We're getting the background story. So the sun is going to be, we start way back before the actual story starts. We want like a before when they were little. Then we go to, I imagine it in my head like cutting to like this fight scene, right? This person is struggling with, they had this beautiful childhood. What the hell's going on? Why are they struggling now? And this is where you can start to ask questions. Okay, why is our main character fighting all these people? They don't look very prepared. I love this card. He's got 2 different shoes on. He's not very prepared. He's had to rush out of the house really quickly. So maybe he had this like really privileged life, and then suddenly it looks like things went a little bit downhill, right? Things, you know, we started off with everything and now we have nothing. What happened there? Why did we get there? That's the middle of our story. You got to fill in the blanks, right? You can pull more cards and go, okay, what was it? Let's pull a random card that got us to that point. Oh, all right. All right, now we have an extra point in here. Okay, more wands. Some burdens, right? Maybe we didn't pay our debts, or maybe my family had too many children, too many mouths to feed. There's a very loud car out there. Too many things to do, too many burdens, and things got too much, it got too heavy, and now we all have to fight to survive, right? We went down in ranking. And then I'm gonna go find a job. That's what the whole moral of the story was, how maybe this is a riches to rags to riches story. Riches to rags to riches, but they got to make it on their own. Okay, it's like a really uplifting, hardworking story. Okay, this is kind of what we're getting at with this one. Right, it's a little bit more like grit and determination. Okay, this could actually be a little bit like, have you ever read Shantaram? Or I think they've made a Prime series about it, which I would like to watch. Shantaram was wild. It's a wild book. Like, there's no way all of that actually happened. He's definitely used some creative embellishment in there, but it's a really good story. I really enjoy it. It's very thick. But we get a little bit of his background. We find out that it's like this guy from Melbourne who was in jail, and then he escaped jail, fled to Bombay, which is now Mumbai in India, and then lived in the slums, and then had to work his way back up, right? And then find his way back home. So that could be it. Riches to rags to riches. Awesome, yeah. So how cool is that? We can just pull a story out of our ass with our cards. And when you can do that, when you can look at the cards and find that creative inspiration from them, you're not going to have any trouble reading for other people and starting to relate it to real life scenarios. Like, you pull those ones out and you're like, okay, so it looks like you've had like a really good childhood. What happened then? It looks like maybe you were given too much responsibility too young. Perhaps you were the eldest and you had to take on more. You got a little bit parentified, and that ended up in you rebelling and pushing back on all of that. So it looks like the teens were pretty hard for you. But then you got a job, you moved away a little bit from your family, and now you've worked your way back up and you're feeling really good about it, right? So I think it's one of the best things I've ever done for my tarot reading process and my development is learning to read creativity. I feel like I just do this naturally, but it's really good. My 6-year-old will love doing this with me. I never thought to make stories. I do it with my 6-year-old, and I did it when she was like 3. She'd be like, tell me a story, mummy. And I'd be like, okay, once upon a time there was a... We just had this card. No. Once upon a time there was a king. And he was a very jolly king. And he was very creative and he loved all his people. But he didn't realize that the people didn't love him, right? They were conspiring against him. Oh no. But it's okay because he found out. So maybe it's not okay. And he found out they were conspiring against him. And he sent them all away. He banished everyone in his kingdom. until it was just him and his money. Oh no. This one really wants to play today. And then he realised it wasn't much fun with no one to rule over and to work. And then he realised he had to actually do all the work. He didn't have anyone doing it for him. He might have had all his money, but the food still had to be grown, the food still had to be picked and cooked, and the house still had to be cleaned and all these things. It was a pretty hard lesson to learn. And perhaps he ended up not liking it and he ran away to another kingdom and just became one of the people there and lived under someone else's rule and left all his riches for whoever would want to find it. Right? There we go. Little riches to rags. There we go. We've got that theme going in today. So yeah, really, really good for kids. Really good for you and your inner child, right? And for just creating something. As I said, you can use it for any form of creative endeavor. And this is just the beginning. I've got a full spread that I call my my plot pyramid. And it is, if you're ever wanting to write a literal story, a creative story, a short story, whatever it is, that you can pull out the cards and give yourself some ideas, right? You can create characters. Let's create a character together. Hold on. Let's create a character. So we're going to look at who is our character. Just overarching, superficial view. All right. We got a little bit of a shifty guy, a little bit of a shady guy, right? This is like, if you've watched Game of Thrones, I'm really bringing out the Game of Thrones stuff here, like Littlefinger. It's like Littlefinger energy, okay? This guy, this is our character. What are his strengths? He's got friends in high places. What are his weaknesses? He can die. Death. Or maybe people trying to, you know, kill him and poison him for the things that he's been doing, right? What sort of childhood did he have? Backstory. Pretty carefree, optimistic, innocent. So what turned him bad? Restriction, boundaries. That's a pretty complex character we just whipped up out of nothing. Like that. There you go. Have fun. And the one thing I really love is when you pull a card, let's say you're asking, well, what are their weaknesses? And you pull the Sun. A lot of people would be like, well, that's not a weakness. Hello, toxic positivity, right? Absolutely. Childish. Those can definitely be weaknesses. And once you can start to create characters that way, think of how that then translates to an actual reading with someone, right? You pull out the Sun card and, you know, maybe they've asked, and it's a negative thing, like, you know, what's the bad thing in this situation? You pull out the Sun. Previously, you would have been like, oh, there's nothing bad. It's fine. It's all good, right? But now you look at it and you're like, ah, okay, so someone's being a little bit childish here. That's what's, you know, it's going to bring out someone's unresolved childhood trauma, right? You can just get a lot more depth in your cards when you do this. Hope Mia says, you've given me such great ideas. Thank you. You are very welcome. If you like these sorts of ideas, I highly... Oh, Danny, I'm not doing card pulls right now. I was just teaching some tarot development, but I do have my email going out very, very soon, which has a pick a card reading in it. So if you're on my email list, which link in bio takes you to my website, you just sign up on there, then you'll be able to get access to that. I send those out once a month. So the pick a card readings go out once a month. But if you guys like this form of like tarot reading and tarot for creative stuff, I'm going to be doing a lot more content around that because it does align with the theme of the tarot deck that I'm creating. So definitely keep an eye out. If you know someone who's a writer, who is a teacher, who is an artist, anything like that, they're going to love this content too. I will be sharing more of the behind the scenes, like creating a tarot deck process and getting it published and all of the ups and downs with that. That will be shared on my private membership group. So with Patreon currently, which will soon shift over to my website, but at the moment with Patreon. So absolutely, definitely you want to be checking that out because there's so much to it that I never knew. But it's just, it's, you know, it's a fun process. It's an interesting process and it's a creative process. I'm a very creative person. So yes, so hopefully this has helped you guys. Hopefully this has given you some ideas and you've come away thinking, oh my gosh, I can't wait to pull out my tarot deck, or I can't wait to get writing or painting or whatever you want to do, because that's what I'm here to help you with. All right. Any questions, just pop them in a comment below. Happy to get back to you on that. And yeah, jump on over to Patreon if you would like to see more of this behind the scenes stuff. All right. Bye for now.